during the night, something happened. I found myself in heaven. Now, you know, the Apostle Paul wrote that he went to heaven. And he said in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, whether I went there physically or whether I went there in the Spirit, I really can't figure it out, but I know that I went there. Well, I have to say, that was also my experience. I just know that I was there. Now, maybe I was laying in my bed, maybe it was just a spiritual experience, I don't know, but I was there. And I found myself literally descending into heaven from above. And when I came in, I could see a panoramic view of heaven, and I was shocked by what I saw. Denise, I've never told this. It was enormous. There were building projects. There were cranes. I mean, so much activity, preparing. And then after a little while, I found myself on a stairwell walking with a woman that I had gone to church with when I was a young man. She was older than me, of course. She had already died and gone to heaven, and she was kind of my guide. She was showing me around heaven. And she took me into a room, and there in that room were a whole bunch of the people from the church where I grew up. And I said, why are they all together? She said, oh, Ricky, she said, you never lose your relationships. She said, you have all your same relationships when you get to heaven. And they were just fellowshipping, having the social time of their life. And then she looked at me and she said, Rick, we've got books up here. And she showed me this massive bookshelf. And she said, all the books that we never took time to read, they're all here. And she said, Rick, your books are here. Did you know your books are up here? I was just amazed. This was such a real experience. But I didn't see my mother. I said, where is my mother? Because my mother had died several years earlier. And she said, your mother is in, what's that called? I never can remember that word. Introduction, when you start to college, what's that? Orientation.
Orientation.
She said, your mother is still in orientation. I said, orientation? She said, oh yeah. She said, when you come to heaven, you got to learn what you're doing. You got to learn where you are. So there is so much here. There's so much to learn when you come to heaven. Your mother's still in orientation. And I was just dumbfounded by that experience. Now, I'm not a person that tells those kinds of stories. You've never heard me tell one before. But the next morning when Denise woke up, I was laying there in the bed next to her and I said, Denise, I was in heaven last night. And I really believe I went to heaven. Whether I went there in the Spirit, whether I went there physically, whether it was a dream, I don't know.